Well, happy Sunday, you guys. Of course, this is the beginning of the week. And of course, this is the end of the first day of the week. I want to stop by here very quickly. And I wanted to discuss something because, of course, I hear people and people say things that I'm hearing. So first, let's get into this Two-Spirited Message at blogspot.com. Yes, y'all, I said last week we're going to be dropping a new episode of Midnight Metanoia. But, okay, I got caught up, did my thing. I was busy, excuse me, pardon me. And so I will definitely be dropping that tomorrow night. Okay. And y'all, that rabbit hole goes very deep. And I was like, this is not even really Midnight Metanoia. This is more so it would be a Midnight Metanoia. It would be. Yeah, I'm excited, to the new way I'm presenting it for you guys to see that. And so, of course, you guys, I told you, I got reacquainted with some people, shout out to you all. And I also got a mess with someone I've not seen in like 7 or 8 years, y'all, which is actually like, whoa, what's going on here? Okay. And of course, when there's a shift, when you start to elevate, okay, things that need to be worked out or people that are meant to be in your life comes back around. It becomes a full 360. Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm going to post a picture of Let It Go, Let It Flow. Told you I was saying that because Lachey was saying that a lot. Let it go, let it flow. And then before you know it, y'all, I literally bought a water bottle, but I've been thinking about it, and it literally says let it flow. And so I'm like, Spirit is always right on motherfucking time. Now, I wanted to come by here very quickly because you guys, I'm always listening to people, right? And of course, the whole purpose of me starting the Supreme Nadia Academy was to kind of, let's be honest, okay? I kind of got the idea from X-Man because I feel like spiritual people, real spiritual people, authentic spiritual people with special gifts, because they say we all have, gifts and stuff, which I do believe, but I feel like some people are actually meant to help, elevate the planet, and so that was the idea behind that, and then of course other things came in. But either way, I've heard people mention things, right? I listen to people, and I'll be talking to people non-spiritual and spiritual. And they'll say things like, I wish I could, I wish that, my life would be a little different. And I'm reminded by this, right? And of course, the title of it is Faith Without Work is Dead. Now, a lot of people don't even know what that saying means. But I'm going to tell you what I feel that it means. And of course, you can look into it if you want to. So faith is the act of believing in something that you're not able to physically see. Now, like I said, I think people get a lot of, they get mixed up. It causes some type of spiritual psychosis, some type of spiritual breakdown when they mix the mundane rules with the supernatural rules or the spiritual rules or the I need to see it to believe it type of thing with the spiritual stuff. Everything is always being worked out. What you don't even understand is that in this moment right now, as we're even, speaking or you're listening to what I'm saying, something is being created into your reality right now. And of course, it is yet to come in, but it's being created. Something is always being created in the ethers, right? And then it descends down and it makes its way into the physical world. Same like your spirit coming into the physical body. And so either way, faith is believing in something that it's coming, because you believe in what it is that creates that. And of course, we're going to get into that as well. And you're preparing for this to come through. A lot of people be out here because it's not about being a good Christian. It's not about being a Muslim. It's not about being any of that. As a person, as a being, everything you do is based on faith, right? Because if it wasn't, then you will be living your life in fear constantly. You'll be afraid of, oh my God, what happens if I don't wake up tomorrow? What happened if, I go to my kitchen right now and I slip and fall? You're believing that when you go into that kitchen, you're not going to slip and fall. You believe that tomorrow on your way to work, everything's going to be okay. Okay. And so everyone has something called faith. And I do think that faith is a virtue. And so we actually believe in things, and what we believe in creates and shapes our lives, our reality. Do your research on that to confirm that. Okay, proven psychology, scientists, quantum physics, they all talk about it. And so the idea that you are saying, I'm going to do spiritual work, because that's what we're talking about here. I'm going to do spiritual work to bring in a good example, money. I'm going to do spiritual work, a good example, love. I'm going to do work, a good example, protection. We can even go into healing, right? I'm going to do work to bring in healing, and you believe that this healing is going to come through, but your actions is not matching up with what it is you're trying to manifest. And of course, y'all, I'm going to go into this because, of course, you can look this up yourself according to the Webster Dictionary. Okay. Let's get into it. Hold on. There's a lot of shit on there. Okay. So the spirit, okay, because what people got to understand is, and I've always said this, and I'm always willing to stand corrected, but at a particular age in your life, I'm not going to say particular age, I'm going to say altogether. Because I grew up around people who were racist. They were taught to be, homophobic, transphobic. And because of the character, because of their spirit, they overlooked all those things, right? What they were taught in the physical body did not mean shit to them, to the spiritual body. And when the older they became, the more they became into their spirit. And so, like I said, I pay attention to people and I see how you move, and how you move is not how you're taught. It's really how you really want to move. Because if we really listen to the way we were taught, if we really listen to the way we were brought up, then a lot of us wouldn't be doing the shit we were doing because we were taught right from wrong. A lot of us will get our ass whooped. A lot of us got our parents broke their foot in our motherfucking ass. A lot of us, shout out, peace be with you guys who've experienced this. I've never experienced this, but you had grandparents and parents who threw irons and shit at you and all that. That would be enough to scare the shit out of me, baby, to where I'm not doing shit. Whatever it costs me to have an iron thrown at me, a high heel, a pot, or anything like that. I'm scared shitless. I'm not doing that shit no more. But some of us has had these things done to us, and yet we didn't give a fuck. We don't care because the character, because the spirit don't give a fuck, because the spirit is just corrupted, and you cannot change the spirit. Okay, you cannot change the spirit. This is why a lot of people will say, which is halfway true, magic does not work. To a degree, you're right. It doesn't, because if the spirit is not willing to be a part of that change, then more than likely it's not going to manifest. But going into this, the definition of spirit says the non-physical part of a person, which is the seat of emotions and character, the soul. It also says those qualities regarded as forming the definitive or typical elements in the character of a person, nation, or group, or in the thought of attitudes of a particular period. Now, going into the first one, it says a non-physical part of a person, which is the seat of emotions and character. Y'all, a lot of these mental illnesses that they are diagnosing people with are actually characteristics of the soul. No therapy, no medication, no rehabilitation is going to change this. This is just what the soul is going to do. This is the mission of the soul, unfortunately. And of course, we've seen this in exorcisms. We've seen this in, these type of conversion therapies they have for many things, and it does not work. And that goes into all of this, right? And this goes into all of this. And of course, character can be built. Things can be added onto a character, right? Characteristics or a character can be created, but ultimately the root of who and what these people are will always show up. That's why I would say, I don't trust liars. I don't trust criminals. Bitch, if you're a thief, I don't trust you. I don't care I used to steal. Bitch, you're still a thief. That thief is just waiting to come out of you. Oh, I used to be. It's still in you, babe. Nuh-uh. It's still in you, babe. Oh, I used to. No, bitch, it's still in you. And that's okay. Other people, there's people that, it's called find your tribe. Some people will be okay with that. There's other criminals like yourself who would love to be around people like yourself. Find those people. Don't try to trick people into thinking that you've changed and you're this loving person and you're welcoming and you're healed and you really are 2 seconds away from popping them inside their damn face or 2 seconds of folding them up and dumping them in the water somewhere. Like, girl. And so for me, I've learned throughout the years that I read spirit, I read energy. And like I said, I'm not wrong. Y'all, I've got into fights with people. I've got into arguments with people. I've ended friendships with people because they thought I was being judgmental. And I'm doing this in quotations, quote, quote. I was too judgmental. I don't give the people of the benefit of the doubt. And, I should. And at the end of the day, they end up coming back and say, hey, you were talking about this person, that person. It was right. You were right, but you could have delivered it a different way. Bitch, don't tell me how to motherfucker deliver a fuck ass thing. Okay? Don't tell me how to deliver a fuck ass thing, bitch. If I see a liar, if I see a con artist, I'm going to say con artist. Because it's just like you can point out and say, bitch, the wig is dry, the lace ain't popping, the blue lipstick is a little too much. Bitch, the titties are too big. Just like you can give your opinion on that, I can give my opinion on and say, bitch, you seem like a scammer. You seem like a con artist. Something about you is fishy. And like I said, I'm always right, y'all, when it comes to that. Like, we could say intuitive, we could say I'm gifted. I know when things are not right with people. And I used to, in my when I first moved out of my parents' home, I used to, give the people the benefit. I was like, oh no, they're too nice. Why would they be like this? They're a gay person. There's no way they could be mean. And then whoop. Or oh my God, this is so sad. Their mom is in the coma, is in a coma. Their dad passed away. Oh, they have to be the nicest person right now. Bullshit. Bullshit. Bitch, I don't care what you got going on. I don't care what you going through. If I feel like something is off with you, baby, I'm gonna respectfully tell you, possibly my condolences, because I'm never gonna be fake with my with my condolences or my greetings or my comforting words. I'm never gonna be fake with it. Or I'm just gonna tell you, girl, whatever, and just keep it pushing. Okay. And so either way, because I'm getting off track here a little bit, that people's energy, people's spirit will always shine through. That whole song, This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine. Listen, that's the spirit coming through, baby. You cannot listen. You cannot. Even y'all, and we're gonna say this too. There's been periods of my life too, because I kind of struggle with that as well, where I am a good person. I'm genuinely, that person. And I have got fucked over by people. And I was like, bitch, fuck it. I'm going to be a cold hearted bitch. Fuck all this. I don't care about people. I don't care who you are, what you are, bitch. I don't care. I hope an asteroid come and destroy the earth. Like, that's how it was. But of course, there's always something in me that be like, you can't let these dark ass programs dim you. You can't let these people turn your heart into stone. You can't let these people change your character. You can't let these people take you out of character. And so that's what has come for me. That's what it has come to for me, and where it should come to for everyone else. Is that don't change who you are. Don't change your character for other people, because people are going to like you for you. Okay? Even if that means it's only 2 or 3 people. Being who you really are, you're going to attract people who they really are, who are themselves. Realness, recognize realness, okay? And so even going into the spirit and going into the faith, a lot of us are doing work. A lot of us are doing candle work, right? A lot of us are doing, candle work for, love. And, I want a man. Saint Anne, bring me a man. Oshun, bring me a man. I want a perfect man. I want a man that's not going to, mistreat me. A man that's not going to blank, 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 blank. And although it's possible, although it's there, but the energy within you is not going to allow that good man to come through. The character of your spirit is not gonna allow that good man to come through, because let me tell you what's gonna happen. You're still in the process of finding yourself. You're still in the process of trying to be the perfect woman, the perfect wife, the perfect daughter, right? This man that you're asking for is already there. You're trying to find yourself in this man. And so what happens is you will attract this man, maybe for a temporary season, because I think that every experience is only an experience. Maybe he needed to have a taste of the other side before he find his, authentic self, which is in, the other half he's looking for. And then you turn him all the way the fuck out. You start disrespecting this man. You start doing things to the man where he's like, damn, never mind. I'm not even into that no more. I thought I wanted that. Now I don't want it. And then now he's treating the next person who is his match, who's worked on herself, who treated herself well, who talks to herself right. He does some fucked up shit to this woman, and then now it's a domino effect, and that's what it comes down to. And so, whether you're lighting candles, whether you're going to a priest or priestess or any practitioner, whether it's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years in, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you right now, these people are grabbing cash. They're into cash grab. They're into actually help you find yourself. Because if you're still trying to find yourself, you're not going to find that man. You're not going to find that whole man if you're only half of yourself. A lot of people have the misconception, the misidea, the the mis-energy, the misinterpretation that they're going to be, they're not going to invest into therapy. They're not going to invest into helping themselves. And that they're going to find this other person, and this other person is going to complete them, right? This other person is going to make them love themselves again. And in reality, you just attract what you really are. And a lot of times you attract what you need. And you don't want what you need, right? Because a lot of people, you're into bad boys, but you really don't need bad boys. But you're into bad boys because your daddy was bad to your mom, and your dad really wasn't there for you neither. So that's what make you be into that shit. Whatever. But you're seeking something in this energy, and it throws you off and it fucks you up. And that's why you feel like you've been going through the same circle, the same loop for the past 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Some people are still 50, 60 years old, still figuring out why the man haven't put a ring on it, or why the woman haven't put a ring on it, why the man ain't trying to have a baby by them, why the woman ain't trying to have a baby by him. And it's like, think about how many times you have the opportunity to find yourself or to invest in yourself, and you choose not to. And something that really blew my mind, you guys, I feel like every person in this world, if you are a human being, you need some type of counseling. You need some type of therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist. You need somebody that can help you, to help the real you thrive, not the avatar of you thrive, but someone who can help the real you thrive, because the mind is really who you are, right? And you are what you think. You are what you speak. If you are what you see, if you are what you touch, it, you are what you walketh. You are everything that's around you. Your environment shapes you mentally, physically, and emotionally. But what gags me, you guys, and this is a gagger right now, and I'm going to look this up before I even say this, because I want to get the dollar amount right. Because this really gagged the fuck out of me. And I said, girl, could you imagine? Hold on. Okay, let's get into it. Black people spend $6.6 billion plus on beauty products. And I was thinking to myself, could you imagine if they spent the same amount of money on mental health? If they spent the same amount of money on learning proper dieting, if they spent the same amount of money on bettering their spirit, bettering their mental, bettering their emotion, could you imagine just how elevated and how successful Black people would be, and no one would be able to stop them because you would outthink them. You'll be two steps ahead of them. Like I was sitting there thinking that, like, that is crazy. Like it blew my mind when someone was talking about that. And of course, we want to talk about mental health and shit, but they were just like, segregation. They was talking about segregation and shit. Like they need to go back to segregation. Black people be okay with supporting other black businesses. We want to give black people our money. Blah 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 blah. But I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, the first investment should be mental health, though, because then you know that you are okay, or you try to weed out, right? Because we're a garden. Shout out to Mary Mary. They said it. We all need a little bit of dirt to grow, and we need water to wash, our soul and to feed us and stuff. And so, either way, we're all a garden. And periodically, this is why it's a lifelong process. We need our garden weeded. We need our soil overturned. What they call it, plowed. And y'all can take this time, y'all want to take the baby, because my mind went there for a second. But we need our dirt plowed. We need new seeds planted. The same watermelon that gonna keep growing and sprouting for the, if you live 100 years, 100 years, a 100-year-old watermelon, 100-year-old watermelon, baby. Come on now. It needs to be renewed. Our garden needs to be renewed periodically. It needs to be kept up. And this is where our doctors come in at, our herbalists come in at, our therapists come in at, our psychologists come in at, our spiritual advisor. They're meant to pour into us. They're meant to water us so that we can blossom. And I will tell you this right now, for somebody who is in therapy and someone who also offer people some type of therapy service, that spiritual advisor. The way that you feel about yourself is going to determine what and how you manifest. A lot of people are hitting glass ceilings. A lot of people are hitting brick walls. A lot of people are feeling like the magic is not working. A lot of people feeling like the candles is a waste of time, that maybe supplies are contaminated because maybe they don't want you to manifest. But in reality, it's that you're not doing the maintenance work. You've never booked a therapy session. You haven't worked on self. When you're not in the best of the best mood, instead of you saying, y'all, I'm sorry, unfortunately, I need time to myself. I need to turn off my phone. Please don't blow me up. I need time to focus on what I got to focus on. I'm going to smile and I'm going to cry later. And unfortunately, a lot of people cry when they're on their deathbed. I know a lot of people that live their whole life smiling and grinning, and then inside they've fallen apart and they're dying. And whenever on their deathbed, that's when they finally broke down and shared secrets. And y'all, that's not good. I cannot imagine living my life like that. And so in today's society, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of people with heavy baggage, and they're wanting to unload this baggage onto everyone they encounter. They want to unload everything onto everybody. I'm pissed off, so let me go out in the world and make it. Because in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, and maybe because I'm a person that's healed, in the healing process. If I'm in a fucked up mood, bitch, I'm staying home. I don't want to be behind the wheel of my car because I might commit a crime that will have me locked up for life. So why not just stay my ass in the house? I might put my hands on somebody. I might cuss somebody. I might give somebody a reading for their motherfucking life, and now they come with it, and I'm done. So to save all that, I'd rather just be in my house when I'm not feeling good. I'd rather be in my house when I'm being moody and being disrespectful and feel like I want to go bad with somebody. I'd rather be in my house and go bad with cleaning. I'd rather go bad with creditors. I'd rather go bad with shit that really matters. But a lot of people, they don't want to do that. They're in a pissy mood. They want to go out to the grocery store. You out having a good day. Before you know it, the bitch slam her cart into you. Before you know it, the bitch bend over right in front of you, farting in your face. Like you trying to bend down to get some organic strawberries. They bend over right in front of you and just pass gas. And it's like, the fuck is going on here? You're in a rush to go somewhere because you're feeling good about yourself. And the slowest person, because they pissed off, want to get it right in front of you. Or better yet, because it goes both ways. Or better yet, they going 80 miles per hour on a 40 per hour lane, beeping the horn, beep, beep, cutting you off and shit because they mad. They mad. So it's always about accountability and responsibility. Ability. It's always about understanding that manifestation happens within self first and then it projects on the outside. We got to also start with speaking nice to ourselves, treating ourselves nice. I always tell people this, and I will continue to tell people this. If I ever came to a situation, or it comes to a situation where it is a friendship, a business connection, it is whatever the case may be. If it ever came a point in my life where I had to choose me, my sanity, my emotional well-being, my mental health over a friend, over a lover, over a business, regardless of how long I've been in it, regardless of how good the business has been to me, regardless of how good the friend has been to me, regardless of how good the relationship has been to me, if I ever had to pick, I'm willing to walk away from that business. I'm willing to walk away from that friendship. I'm willing to walk away from that relationship because I know that the grass is greener on the other side. And I know that when I'm in a good state, now I can manifest and elevate the way that I should elevate. Being in a space with energy that is smothering, energy that is not good for you, will prevent you from being who it is you meant to be. So this is why you're doing work for 20, 30, 40 years and it's not manifesting. This is why you went to 17 spiritualists and yet you still haven't got your man yet. This is why you burn countless and countless of candles. You invested thousands and thousands of dollars in work to manifest a man, a car, a job, and it's not coming into pass. Because magic is definitely real. But the question is, are you real? Are you living out your authentic self? Are you being true to yourself? What words are you speaking? What actions are you doing? Who are you dealing with? Because you cannot be the successful one and people around you are not wanting success. You cannot be the one that say, I want better for myself, and everybody around you saying, girl, I'm gonna be doing the same thing I've been doing 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years ago. Like, y'all, the older that I'm getting, I'm starting to realize that every year has to be a new you. Every year there has to be new goals. You can't have the same mindset that you had in 2024 and 2025. And if you do want to have that, that is trauma. Because I was thinking about y'all for a minute. Like, I was like, oh, maybe I'm being a little too judgmental here, right? Well, I never thought about this before. So I listened to someone I've known for, quite some time, right? And if they had a child when they first met me, or I had a child when I first met them, our child will be almost, legally grown, like the legal age to, to buy cigarettes and stuff. And so either way, almost. I'm counting right now. I'm like, no, almost. So I'm sitting here having a conversation, and I've noticed throughout all these years, they only mention the same group of people, right? The same group of people. And it's probably like about 5 of them. And I'm just like, honey, how many people I know that are not relatives that I can sit here and talk about constantly about, right? That I don't deal with, right? The ones I do talk about, I deal with them consistently. We're good. We're close. We showed up to each other's, weddings, divorce parties, funerals, births of children, new houses, new cars. When we got a new promotion, we showed up there, right? But people who have not showed up, I don't know any of these people no more, because I have a rule when it comes to that. You can't be there for me when I need you the most. It's a wrap. I'm done. I don't really care. And so I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm just kind of annoyed, because I'm like, honey, why are we sick of talking about people that you knew 20 or 30 years ago? And I've yet to see these people, and I've known you for almost half that time. Why have I not met these people? Why are these people have not asked about meeting me? And then it dawned on me, right? And not just with this person, but with a lot of people. When there's unresolved trauma, when there's some type of energy that we're trying to get back to because we have not amended, areas of our lives, maybe we're stuck in that age, maybe we're stuck in that experience. We want to hold on to people, places, and things, which is called a comfort zone, that will remind us about when life was easier, when life was happier. And yes, that's cute. Yes, that's, oh my God, that's so amazing to think about. Oh, when life was so innocent. But this actually hinders you from progressing. This actually hinders you from being that boss that you want to be, that millionaire you want to be, that married woman with children you want to be, that married man with children you want to be. Because when I sit back and I think about it, The people that I know that are successful, that are thriving, that are living in the life that they wanted to live, they never go back and fully stand that memory. They never say, oh God, I remember when I'd have to pay bills. Oh God, I remember when I, was innocent and all I did have to wake up and go to school and do. They don't talk about that. And if they do, it's for like a 10-second period because maybe somebody pulled out a picture. Oh, that's not the thing too. They don't keep pictures about that shit either. But maybe somebody pulled out a picture. Maybe somebody said, how old were you when you realized that you were blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, I remember that era. But the ones that are always reminiscing and want to talk about, when they're 40, when they were 19, 14, 15, or they're so upset about people that did things when they were half the age that they are now. They never fully develop. They never fully blossom. They never fully become what it is that they need to become. Because once again, they're stuck in the past. They're stuck in that experience. And then they're looking at people like you, who's elevating, who's manifesting, and they start thinking multiple things. What is this bitch doing to get ahead? Is this bitch scamming? Is this bitch cheating? Is this bitch, being a hoe for people? What's going on? But in reality, it's really about you know how to let go. You know that every experience in your life made up who you are today. You know that the good and the bad, the sunshine and the rain made you who you are today. And like I said, speaking for myself, yes, I do go back in the past for very little bit of time and I think about memories and people and things. But I also, in that moment, when I think about it, I say I release it in peace, especially if it's a bad situation. I say I release it in peace because I know that my energy is always elevating. I know that I have a life that I still need to fulfill. And I don't want to live another 20, 30, 40, 50 years thinking about things 30, 40, 50 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and not really elevating from that. Like I'm stunting my growth. I'm stuck in that process because it says where the mind goes, the rest will follow. For your mind, and the rest will follow. And so that goes with all areas of your life. If you want to elevate, if you want to mature, if you want to become something, if you want to manifest whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest, you have to let go of the past. You have to let go of people, places, and things that do not serve you. And also ideas. Because during that time, you probably was thinking, right? Because the thoughts that you had then is really who you are right now. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Step back for a minute and you realize that everything that you thought in the past, you are experiencing right here, right now, in this moment. Everything you thought about in the past consistently is who you are right now. So that's why we look for people, family, friends, supportive people who are pouring into us, who are speaking into us, our dreams, our hopes, our inspirations. They're motivating us. When you say, I want to change my diet, and they're saying, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. You want people around you like that. When you're sitting here right now thinking, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 40, you want people to say, yes, you are going to be, boo, 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 boo. Because that's motivating you. That's inspiring you. That's keeping you on track. The first person you hear when you say that I'm trying to reach this and that, and they're like, oh, is that possible? Do you think you can reach it? Or they start giving that little hate. Oh, girl, here we go with this fantasy world. Block, 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 block. And like I said, I don't care if you call me anti-social. I don't care if you call me people hater, because I'm definitely not a people hater. That's how I pay my bills. That's how I am where I am. That's how I am who I am, because I love people. I deal with people. I have perfect, I would say excellent people skills. Okay, conflict and resolution. I'm very good at what I do. And I say that humbly. I just don't have time for bullshit. Life is short. 100 years is not a lot of time. Could you imagine that? 60 summers, 70 summers, 80 summers, and 73 of those 80 summers you spent giving a fuck about what people thought about you who really didn't like you? Better yet, who didn't like themselves? I heard pleasing people who are not even pleasing themselves. Make it make sense. So we have to get back to square one. We have to get back to the basics. We have to get back to the pen and paper. We have to get back into figuring out what is important to us and what is not. If you have 30 days to live your life, what would you do differently these next 30 days to make sure that when the 30 days is up, you fulfilled all of your purposes? What would you do differently? And that goes even into the next 20, 30, 40 years. You write it down. This is the goals I want. Who is blocking me from getting to these goals? Write that down. Who is inspiring me? Who is motivating me? Who is propelling me to get there? Write that down. Over time, things are going to reveal itself to you. And it's going to make a lot of sense to you. Faith without work is dead. Also going into money, because that's another thing that we all tend to like want and work on. We will do the work for the money, but yet we won't put in the time and energy to really get the money. A saying that I was taught a long time ago, and I'm just going to talk about this very lightly, politely, because it's a very recent 10 years, right? Well, now it's 11 years, but still. In 2014, well, we're going to go back to 2013. 2013, before that, I've always had good work ethics. You know, I moved out of my parents' house at 17 and a half. I did move out their house into a relationship where, you know, the person provided for me. And then after that relationship was the same thing. I believe 2.5 years later, I had to move back in with my parents for a short period of time because of some, you know, stuff went down. But I was using these 9 months till I built myself back up, y'all. Like writing stuff down, what I wanted to do, and surrounding myself with what I needed to do and how I wanted to do it. And like just thinking about the idea, y'all, watching movies and TV shows that kind of projected my reality. And so, of course, people came in and tried to deter me. And of course, it happened for a little bit. But I got back on track. So in 2013, I could say that I elevated my work ethics. I think I elevated the way that I work, because the old saying is the early bird gets the worm. Y'all, there was times that I was working naturally without coffee, without tea, without drugs, because I don't do that, never plan on doing it, don't want to do it. The idea of, you know, any of that shit just make me want to throw up, because I'm like, girl, I don't like the way bleach smell. I don't like the way Ajax smell or feel like that. Let's talk about it. That's why I love wearing gloves and all that good shit. So I couldn't imagine putting shit in my body like that to get high. Girl, bye. But when I met these people that were successful, these people that were, you know, R&B singers, dancers, actors, book writers, talent agents, all this good shit, well, they were like, baby, in the past week, I had to get to the bag, so I only slept 2 or 3 hours a night. Or one person said they were up one day, one time, or for a period of time for like 3 or 4 days at a time. I'm like, damn, I can't do that. I think the longest I was up was like 26 hours. Naturally, too, y'all. And I did doze off a couple of times. But naturally, nothing to keep me up. But I was doing my money rituals to get my tea. Now, of course, y'all, as a person, you know, on my own back then, you know, I was considered low income, right? Because I did not work, I did not get my money. And of course, in order for me to have money to get a surgery done or surgeries done, it was going to take me to go into overdrive. Because, bitch, at that point, I didn't have a car. At that point, I didn't have shit but just my own apartment. And the shit I wanted, I had. And even then, I was on a real tight budget. I was eating noodles. I would go get ground beef, make, you know, meal prep shit for 3 or 4 days worth of food. I had like my favorite dessert once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. That's how tight it was. But I knew I was like, I have to elevate. I have to take myself to the next level. And doing that is I'm going to have to invest in myself. In the industry I was in, it was body. Like you have to be more, you have to create a more sex appeal. And so I did, right? But to get there, which means I had to change my work habits, right? Because I was good with waking up at 9 or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning and working until 3 or 4. That allowed me to pay my bills. That allowed me to pay my rent, but I was still on a very confined budget. I knew if I wanted to get surgeries, and I knew if I wanted to get a car, or I wanted to eventually get out the place I was in, that I had to change my work habits. And of course, I could have got more jobs. I could have said, well, let me do 3 or 4 jobs. But even then, I would have required me to work more hours. And so I studied other people who were successful in the same field I was in. I would say I noticed that they're on here for 12 hours. I noticed that they're on here early in the morning, late at night, and then in midday, you don't see them. Between like the hours of 12 and like 7, you don't see them, or 12 and 8, 12 and 9. And so, y'all, I switched it. And literally, in 30 days, I went from $0 to enough money, because we're not getting into that because I signed them out, to have enough money to fly to Florida, pay for my airplane ticket, pay for the ticket for my dog, because at that point, I had to pay for the dog ticket for him as well. Pay for my hotel, which I actually stayed in like a bungalow type of thing, to pay for a private nurse to help, take care of me and stuff, because of course I was there by myself. And so either way, to then have to throw all that away, y'all, because I was not able to get my surgery done at that point, and I was out of that money. Mind you, I had to come back. I lost out on that money, the plane ticket, and all that. I had to come back and I had to start it over. Now, this was close to the rent being due again, November the 1st. This is in October, y'all. This is close to rent being due. And I was able to come back, right? And this is the gagger for me. This is the fucking gagger for me. And this is what really shifted my belief and my faith in the work that I do. And when I say the work, I mean the magic that I do. Because in that 30-day period, right, it took me 21 days to break a work habit, which was very, very hard. It took 21 days. And you know how many times I wanted to sleep in? I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired though. Oh my God, you don't know. But the money was motivating me. Oh my God, but you really need this money to get the surgery done, because if you don't get this surgery done, then you're not going to be able to elevate financially. So when I came back, you guys, my work ethics and my energy, the way that my brain has been trained to think for the previous 30 days was in that high mode already. So I was not only able to lose out on that money, almost $10,000, but I was able to acquire that money from the 27th to November the 6th, because that's when I went to the next doctor to get a consultation here in California. I was able to manifest within that period of time. Before that, my manifestation was a little slower. We're going to say that it was a little slower. Okay. Probably breaking about that time, 2013, 2011, 2013, anywhere from like 1,500 to 2,500. That's why I had roommates shit at that time. That wasn't a lot of money. To literally, when I was like, I want to go do this, whatever, in that time frame to make 10K that month, I was like, bitch, wait a minute. So I know I can do this. If I literally made in 3 weeks, it was like literally maybe 3 weeks and 2 days, $0 to actually have the money for all the shit I needed. Like I said, almost 10K. I was like, bitch, I could do this. And so literally within that week, I was like, okay, I'm going to need a deposit for the new surgeon. I'm going to have to pay for medication, surgical bras. I'm going to have to also pay my rent and my bills, because that's due. Y'all, like I said, in that period of time, the 27th to the 6th, which is what, maybe about a good 9 to 10 days, I was able to get that money. It was almost like 3,500. And it was really because I was so hungry for what I wanted. And I was willing to sacrifice my sleep. I was willing to sacrifice my comfort to make sure that I was motherfucking good. And y'all, when I tell you, like I say, it was not easy, but I knew I had to do it. And so even going into the magical stuff, because of course I elevated from that moment on. Like I said, we give a timeline, a log. People who've known me from that time period, they can say how big of a change, a whole 360 plus. And even those of you who've known me since 2016, of course, we don't really go into my private lives and stuff. But like I said, I'm always open. Of course, we're connecting like that. I'm always open to share and to go into stuff. It's a whole nother energy, because the mind is changed, and so the reality has changed. And so it's just not about the candles. Like I said, I've manifested things on $1 candle. I've manifested things on a 3-day period that I was like, I don't think this is going to be possible, which we call emergency work. But I prepared myself for this. My thoughts were already changing. I believed in what I was doing. I was already pulling that energy before I even knew I needed that energy to be pulled. And so that works with love work, that works with energetic work for money, that works with protection work. You're always going to need money. You're always going to need love, whether it's love for yourself, love for a person, it doesn't matter. You're always going to need love. You're always going to need a healing. If you're experienced, you could do things consistently all the time, when you need to, how you need to do, et cetera, et cetera. In the beginning, I always tell you guys, take your time, build yourself up. It's like conditioning your body, working out. If you have not ran in a very long time, you're not going to be able to run without breathing hard 500 feet. You have to slowly build that up, and eventually you'll get there. You'll be a 600-pound man, and you'll be able to outrun the fucking 190-pound person. I've seen it happen lots of times. You'll be a 600-pound woman and you'll be able to do splits while this underweight individual can't even barely spread their leg to do splits. It's about conditioning your body, conditioning your mind, conditioning your energy. So a lot of us, we get so excited that, oh, all I gotta do is pay this spiritualist this money and I'm gonna get what I need. All I gotta do is go buy this love candle, I'm gonna get what I need. Wrong. You have not conditioned your mind, your body, and your spirit for that energy to come through. You don't even recognize that energy. And a lot of times, because I've been there, I could go back to the experiences I've had where I asked the spirit for something. I wasn't paying attention for the signs. Then when the work, I'm like, oh shit, magic ain't working because I asked spirit to bring it through. It didn't work through. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting here thinking, because I'm always thinking about things like, what could I have done better? And it dawned on me, stupid, when you went to UPS, the UPS worker was trying to talk to you and you were just like, That was your fucking ticket, bitch. Like, that's what it comes to. You're doing money work to get money. And you're like, ooh, I have been doing my money work and money's kind of been funny for me lately. I mean, well, you got to ask yourself, what are you really doing outside the money work, though? Outside of burning that candle, because anybody can burn a candle. Are you really Are you really preparing your energy for that? Are you going to bed early to wake up early? Are you actually thinking about what it is you're trying to manifest most of the time? Are you allowing people who don't have money to interfere with your money? Like, these things play a role in how you're going to be able to manifest. These things are going to play a key role in how your magic is going to manifest. So it's not that the magic is not working or because you have not done the candle work in a long time that it's not pulling through. Because you're manifesting, because you're thinking about it. You're like, oh my God, I know I'm going to need $1,000 on the 1st. You're already thinking about that the previous month to that. So the energy is already aligning, but in that 30-day period, what are you doing outside of the candle work? Are you going to bed when you want to go to bed? Do you have multiple streams of income that you could be tapping into, but you're like, no, I don't really want to get into that. I'm good with this. Like I said, are you dealing with people that have money problems and you're kind of letting them, let's go have fun. Oh, yeah. Because a lot of people like to get down with that guy. I was friends with a girl like that. And I was, elevated because, bitch, you can't get into my mind. I'm a very strong person. Bitch, you can't fuck up my vibe or fuck up my motherfucking manifestation. Because, baby, at the end of the day, girl, if it came down to crunch time, bitch, block, delete. But this person was manifesting, if not the same, more than me. Like, they were actually, a supervisor for the state of California in a position. But yet they were living at home with their mother. They were they were blowing. They were getting the money, they were blowing the money. And it's like, girl, well, this is why you're having a hard time getting your own place, because you're not motivated. You're not thinking my own place. So every time you go spend money, you're not saying, damn, I'm going to need this money to get my own apartment in 2 months. You're like, oh, girl, I can eat out. It's only $5. It's only $10. That shit adds up. Going into multiple streams of income. Yeah, maybe you are getting a good, decent amount of money, but you got to really sit down here and think about your expenses and your income. If your expenses outweigh your income and this is the only job you have, maybe that's a good time to start opening other things, doing other things. And then what are you going to do differently to get yourself there? There's not no waking up, no shade to who this is, because I always tend to make a connection back to this, to people I know. Okay, this is no shade. But this kind of gave this idea to have this conversation, because I feel like a lot of people in this conversation, there's no, I need to make $300 a day and you should be advertising, you should be doing things, the groundwork. And there's, 24 hours in a day, you sleep 8 hours of those 24 hours. So after that, you have about a good, 16 hour, or you sleep 8 hours out of 24 hours, you have a good 16 hours left. And then 12 of those 16 hours, you're fucking around. You're like watching movies. You're doing your nails. You're playing video games. You're doing shit that does not contribute to your goal, your dream, which is to make $300 a day. And then you're saying the same stuff over and over to yourself. Oh, I just got to get on myself. No, you could get on yourself. What it is that you're not hungry enough to manifest the $300 a day. That's what it is. You're not hungry enough to manifest that $300 a day, because you were hungry enough for it and you treated it as if you don't manifest that, you're shit out of luck. Guess what? You're going to change that. And that's why I said I've been there, done that. When I see people who have a drinking habit, a smoking habit, or whatever type of habit, but yeah, they're talking about how they got money problems, at that point, I checked out. At that point, I'm ready to block you and hang up on you so you could bitch them on the other people. Because, bitch, there's times where I wanted to spend money on stupid ass shit too, like a cupcake, a bag of hot Cheetos. But I thought to myself, damn, that's $5.98 for a bag of hot Cheetos. That $5.98 could go towards this, and all I need is $20 more, which I can pay this bill. And go, there you go, to get a motherfucking hot Cheetos. But to be like, you're going to get your cake and eat it too, but yeah, bitch and moan because you're not able to get your money for something else, that's insanity to me. That's, you're not trying to find a solution. You're wrestling within yourself. That is procrastination. And this is why the work is not working. It's not that the counter work is not manifesting. You're just not prepared for it to come through. And that's how spirit tests you. Spirit don't test you with the experience first. A lot of times spirit see, well, how bad you want this? What are you really willing to do to get this with harm to none? Well, I'm still gonna, even though I know there's 16 hours in a day after I'm waking up, I'm still gonna stay up 5 hours before, I go to bed. When I wake up, I'm still gonna be like shooting the shits and doing shit that's not, getting me to my goal. And then also, like I said, you have 4 hours. Realistically, what is 4 hours? If people in your same career is doing days upon 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 days of focusing and investing in that energy to get what they need to get. There's no shortcut, babe. That's not how that works. There's no shortcut. Magic is not a shortcut in that sense. And even in the sense of doing energetic work, but you still want to be in control, that doesn't work either. You have to surrender. The whole purpose of coming to magic is because you tried all you can physically. And the only answer is the spirit. And now you're letting go and you're letting God. You're letting go, you're letting flow. You're letting go and you're letting the spirits do what they need to do. But but when is it coming? This is why you haven't been able to do it physically. Because you're always trying to be in control of shit. You have to surrender. Your thoughts, your actions has to match what you're trying to manifest. And if you're not trying to get there, it's not gonna manifest. If you're trying to manifest a man and you want to marry this man, and you're willing to sacrifice, but you're not willing to sacrifice living life like you're single, hanging around friends who are bums and they got shit going on that don't want to get married, baby, good luck. Good luck to the counter work. Baby, you're trying to get your own apartment, your own car, but every time you turn around, you still eating out. You're not creating a list to go eat, buy your own shit, make your own food. You're not really being tired. Okay, listen, I know I need to, manifest this, manifest that. But, I can wait. Listen, I've been there, done that. Baby, how was I able to move out of my very last roommate situation with an income of only $900? At that point, bitch, I was at my lowest of the lowest. Okay, and that's when I said, bitch, I got to do better. And that's when I started elevating slowly but surely. Bitch, it was like every year, every 2 years, I was elevated. But at that point, it was like $900 income. And when push came to shove, and they were like, "Bitch, you got 30 days to be gone," and I was gone in 2 weeks, it gagged the fuck out. I'm like, huh? What happened? Yeah, bitch, I was saving on a $900 a month income, and I was paying $450 a month. You do the calculations. I still have to buy hormones, which is almost $200 a month. I still have to buy my necessities like soap, toothpaste, toothbrush, my food. I have to also pay for my makeup and shit. And I was still able to, in 6 months, be able to put down a security deposit and pay my first month's rent in an apartment that I think it was like $1,650 a month. So it's like at the end of the day, it's about how bad do you want it? And that's why you need to be motivated. How bad do you want this? How bad you want these $300 a day? How bad you want this husband? Are you willing to relocate? However much more you're willing to sacrifice is however quickly you're going to manifest what it is you're trying to manifest. If you're not willing to work on you, maybe it's not just that, maybe it's you. Well, I am working on this man, but I don't like the way he talked to me. First of all, how do you talk to yourself? Second of all, how do you talk to him? We're not talking about kiss his ass, but we know that men want to be dominant. A lot of men do like dominant women because there are submissive men out there, but there's a time and place for everything. There's time and place for everything. You need to learn this man. You need to learn what he's into, what he's not into. If you want to be aggressive and he's into, passive women, then maybe that's not the man for you. And trust me, there's a prototype of every person out there. So don't get caught up in it. But no, but I want somebody to look like him. Trust when I tell you this, baby. The universe can only make this. The universe can't make 8 billion people look different. Okay, out of 8 billion people, you're gonna find at least 1,000,001 copies of the same person when it comes to features and stuff. Listen, I'm willing to guarantee that. I can't prove that, but I'm willing to guarantee that. Okay, so you're looking on the inside, not the outside. You're looking for something that's compatible internally, not externally. Because one day you're going to get old. They're going to get old. Okay, if God bless you with that type of life, and the outside ain't gonna matter. Are you still connected to that energy? Do you still feel the same love that you felt for them when you were in your 30s, in their 60s, or their 70s? Are you 60s or 70s? Is it the same energy? Like, this is what it comes down to. Stop falling in love with the idea of falling in love. Stop falling in love with the idea that you can have anything you want with magic, because it's true. But what are you willing to do to get there? What are you willing to sacrifice? People make time to sit up and do nothing will end up manifesting nothing. People make time to sit up and work on their goals and their dreams and their inspirations will end up manifesting their goals, their dreams, their inspiration. There was a guy that, what was he? He's not a monk. He was something else. And he was giving people advice on learning a new language or new career or a new subject. And they were like, well, what do you think about a 50-year-old person who's trying to learn Spanish or who's trying to learn to be a mechanic, And he said, this has to be the majority of your day. When you wake up, you have to practice this. When you're on your break, you have to practice this. As soon as you come home, you have to practice this. And y'all, when I saw this, I thought about this when I was a kid. I was like, you know what? This is why I was good in high school. This is why I was good in middle school, elementary school. This is why I got good grades. This is why I was doing good, because there was no TV before we studied. There was no TV before. And y'all, I hated fucking math. I hated fucking algebra. I still kind of do. I hate algebra, trigonometry. I hated that bullshit. Bitch, I was like, oh, get me out of here. But I studied and I studied and I studied and I studied. Even though I hated it when they gave us the fucking test, I knew I had to pass the class. I passed the fucking class. And that's the same thing with everything in life. There's going to come a time when you're going to be able to rest and have your cake and eat it too. But in that building process, that needs to be your main focus. Do you want to hang out with your friends or you want to make your dreams happen? People, I've been doing the same work and it's not manifesting. Well, in this 6-month period, what are you doing outside of your work? Well, I'm hanging with somebody who don't believe in love or they're having love issues. I'm really focused on other shit. Like I'm irritated at this, that, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you have one goal in mind that you're trying to manifest in these 6 months, which is to find the love of your life. But you just mentioned 3 things that goes against that type of frequency. So why not in these 6 months that you're manifesting, hang around with friends and people who are happy in their love relationship or their love life? Why not hang with people in this period that are manifesting, working towards their goals and their dreams to motivate you, even on your free time? Fuck listening to people's life stories who are unhappy, miserable with their life. You should be around people that are happy with their life. And even if they're not trying to manifest love, that they're happy with their life, because that's going to inspire you to live the life that you want. You find this woman or this man, that's part of your life. And that's why I said in the back of my head, not in the back of my head, I really think this a lot. And I kind of say it a lot to some people don't get it. So I'm like, bitch, I'm minding my business, honey. You want my advice, girl, you're going to send over that money. Hello. Maybe this is why we charge for our fucking advice, because when it's for free, you don't give a fuck about it. There's no way that I'm trying to manifest a house, a car, and a successful business, and I'm going to befriend a man or a woman who has a business, but it's not doing successful, or they don't want to be in a business, or they rather just be a bum. Like, make it make sense. Like, the universe is paying attention to you. I want to be in a relationship. I want a loving man I can't be friends or in a close quarters with somebody who's not happy with their relationship because their energy is going to rub off on me. I'm going to think about their situation more than my situation, especially if I'm dealing with them because what I want hasn't manifested yet. So I'm thinking about them not being happy. Like, why are they still with this man? This man don't want to be with them. Why are they still with this man? Why are they still like that's what I'm be thinking about every time I deal with them. Versus, I'm so happy that they are happy with their life. I'm so happy that they're happy in their relationship. Like all this feeds you, y'all. Every experience that we have, and I'm done, feeds back to you. It speaks back to you. Every friendship that you have is something being spoken back to you that you spoke to yourself or that you spoke to others. When you have friends that validate you, friends that admire you, that adore you, that constantly pour love and stuff into you, they're pouring back into you what you poured into them. And I think there were friends who, are not so nice, not so kind. Maybe you have been so nice, maybe you have been kind to them, but something in them that is not so kind and not so nice probably still is within you, and that's why you're okay with being around that energy. I have nothing in common with miserable as people. I have nothing in common with people who are not happy with themselves. I have nothing in common with people who don't want to wake up every day and be thankful for the life that they fucking live. I have nothing in common with people that think that people can run them. So even if I like your personality, even if I think that you're a cool person, we don't have those basic things in common, which will make me say, thank you, but no thank you. Hi and bye. We're not hanging out, babe. There's a million people that I can hang out with. That's probably is happy in a relationship. That's what I'm doing. The same way you met that miserable ass person, you can meet people that are not so miserable. And that's how I look at it. I'm not comfortable being with people who are living the life that I'm not trying to manifest. I'm not comfortable with that. Like I said, being around you all day, every day. And when I go have fun, you want to go have fun with me too, and I'm in your motherfucking energy. No, ma'am. We should be celebrating the same type of thing. We should both be in, oh, this is my break from my hardworking job that is successful. So we're using this time to hang out to disconnect from that world. Not, well, I'm taking a break from my busy ass schedule and you're taking a break from your miserable ass life and you like being around me because I'm always speaking about success and all the good shit. You're using my energy, you're pulling my energy. That's not what I'm into, babe. Baby, find somebody else to use and abuse. You're not using and abusing my energy. Because, baby, you're not stopping me. You're not blocking me from manifesting what it is I need to manifest. And that's what it is. Okay? And that's on period. And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay? And that's on Allah. Okay? And that's on the American nation and the MAGAs. You better catch that tea. Okay? And I'm done. Okay? So that's really it, y'all. That's it, honey. Let me see who's up in here. Anybody up in there? Okay, I gotta go. It might be a little too late tonight, honey. I'm glad y'all listened to this conversation. Those who came up in here and left up out of here. Those who may still be up in here. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Anyway, I'm out of here. We will be doing the Midnight Metanoia tomorrow, and no, it will not be a live session. It is pre-recorded, and so I'm excited, y'all, for y'all to see this. And of course, I'll be back to listen to your tea. Your feedback, okay? So anyway, y'all, love and light, twospiritmystic.blogspot.com, 28spiritmystic@gmail.com. And yeah, y'all, bye for now. Love and light and love and truth. Hope you guys been good. And like I said, hope you guys have a great week as well. Bye for now.